The city buzzed with the usual noise, cars honking, hurried footsteps, and the low murmur of people too busy to look around. But amidst the crowd, at the edge of a cracked sidewalk near an old grocery store, a little cart sat still, tilted slightly from a broken wheel. It wasn't selling anything anymore. Its wooden frame, once used to carry fruits, now held only a few wrinkled apples, a torn blanket, and a little girl with tangled hair and big brown eyes that didn't beg, but simply observed the world with a tired kind of hope. A well-dressed man in his 30s, Max, was walking by, rushing back to his office after grabbing coffee. He barely noticed the girl and her mother behind the cart, until he heard the softest voice speak through the noise. "We don't need food today, just a hug." He stopped. The words struck him in a place he hadn't felt in years. Turning slowly, he looked down at the girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, barefoot, wearing a faded pink hoodie. She was holding her arms out to him. Her mother sat beside her, head low, too ashamed to meet his eyes. Max stood frozen, coffee shaking in his hand. A hug. Not money, not food, not a plea for anything material. Just a hug. He slowly knelt and asked gently, "Why a hug?" The girl whispered, "Mom's been crying all morning. I think her heart's hurting more than her tummy." Max looked at the mother. She lifted her face, tear-streaked, cheeks hollow, pride shattered. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. Max opened his arms. The girl rushed in. Then, to his surprise, the mother did too, hesitant, trembling, but needing it just the same. For a moment, right there on the sidewalk, the world paused. The sounds, the traffic, the rushing, all of it fell away. Hours later, Max sat in his office unable to focus. His thoughts kept going back to that cart. That hug. That child. He'd once known pain like that. After his wife's death, he too had wandered, emotionally if not physically. Broken, surviving but barely living. He remembered what it felt like to be invisible while carrying silent grief. So he made a decision. The next day, Max returned, this time not in a suit but in jeans and a hoodie. The cart was still there. The little girl smiled when she saw him. "I brought something," he said, setting down 2 warm meals, juice boxes, and a small teddy bear. The mother tried to refuse, shaking her head. "We don't take charity, sir." "It's not charity," he said, kneeling again. "It's what friends do. And I could use some friends right now too." Her tears returned, but softer this time. Over the next few days, Max visited regularly. He brought small meals, books for the girl, warm clothes. He listened to the mother, Sarah, speak about how she'd lost her job as a cleaner when the motel closed. How the landlord kicked them out. How every day was a battle between feeding her daughter and keeping hope alive. Max offered to help her find work. She hesitated, pride battling desperation. But then her daughter whispered, "Mom, maybe we can help him too. He looks lonely." Sarah agreed. Weeks passed. Max helped Sarah get a job at a nearby diner. The girl, Mia, was enrolled in a community school thanks to a contact Max had. Slowly, things began to change. The cart disappeared. In its place, Sarah saved up for a tiny apartment. It wasn't much, but it had a door that locked, a kitchen that worked, and a window where sunlight streamed in. One day, Mia handed Max a crayon drawing. It showed 3 people holding hands in front of a bright yellow sun. "That's us," she said proudly. "My new family." Max couldn't speak. His eyes welled up. That simple hug from a broken sidewalk had healed more than just their hearts, it had healed his too. Challenges they faced. Sarah had to overcome her pride and shame, which had kept her from asking for help. She had no support system and was burdened by the constant fear of losing her daughter to the streets or social services. Mia, despite her young age, bore the emotional weight of her mother's despair. Max had been emotionally numb, stuck in grief, distancing himself from people and meaning. Each of them, broken in their own way, found healing through connection. Message to the audience. Sometimes, we underestimate the power of simple kindness. A hug, a conversation, a small act of humanity, it can save someone. This isn't a story of handouts, it's a story of hands held. In a world that often looks away, be the one who sees. We all carry invisible wounds. And sometimes, we don't need solutions. We just need someone who cares. So the next time you pass someone in pain, remember this. You might not have food. But maybe, you have a hug.